Hey, what's going on everybody? This is iNyzmo and welcome back to my channel. Now in today's video, I'm giving you my first thoughts and impressions on Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I understand that this game came out back in 2022, but I haven't played it yet and I figured I might as well make a video on it. With that being said, let's get right into it. Now Tiny Tina's Wonderland is a spin-off from the Borderlands series. It's pretty much based in this fantasy world. The whole premise of it is that you're playing as the main character in this tabletop game within the Borderlands world, and the tabletop game is called Bunkers and Badasses. Essentially a D&D game ran by one of the main characters in Borderlands, or not really main characters in Borderlands, but a very prominent character in the series, Tiny Tina. And pretty much she is running this D&D game, or Bunkers and Badasses game, and you're playing as a character within that game. Now, who's the character that you're playing as? You're playing as the Fate Maker, who is going to be your D&D character in this case, or your B&B character. You're followed by your companions, Captain Valentine and Freight. Pretty much they help you along your way to go ahead and make your way through the imaginary Wonderlands, or this imaginary world called the Wonderlands, and battle this tyrannical villain, the Dragon Lord, who is really bent on trying to take over the Wonderlands. And you're supposed to be guided by Queen Butt Stallion. However, haven't really gone too far into the game. So yeah, you're supposed to defeat the tyrannical Dragon Lord and save the Wonderlands from his reign of terror and his imposing quest. You're supposed to be guided by Queen Butt Stallion, which you were for a moment there. Then all of a sudden, after you get this sword to where pretty much absorbs souls, he comes down, grabs a sword, chops off Queen Butt Stallion's head, and then you have to make your way over, well, back up. He escapes after that. He's very powerful, and then you got to make your way over to his castle to defeat him. Honestly, kind of a weak plot if you ask me. Let's get right into the things that I like and dislike about the game. The things that I like about the game is that obviously I like how it's got the Borderlands art style. I like how it's based off of D&D. Me personally, I'm a big fan of D&D. I have my own set of die. I run campaigns whenever I'm not playing video games. I really do enjoy some of the dialogue in the game. I find it to be very charming, and it's very, how do I put it? I don't know, it's just very lighthearted. I like how the game is a very lighthearted version of the Borderlands game. Yeah, of the Borderlands games. That's how I would put it. Now, for example of the dialogue, I like how when you're fighting against the skeletons, it's just goofy dialogue of them saying, "Ooh, I'm a scary skeleton. I'm here to, like, you know, obviously kill you," because that's their objective. But it's said in a very lighthearted and goofy voice. Actually, one thing that I have been enjoying a lot in this game is doing the side missions. I would say my favorite side mission that I've done so far in the game is when I went to go help this bean, like, it's an actual bean. You kick it into a village, and the bean sprouts out into a giant beanstalk, and then you got to go fight your way through the beanstalk and defeat this fungus that's infecting it and causing it to be super tyrannical and, like, pretty much ruin the village. You destroy a village and then you have to go defeat the fungus because you were tricked by the bean itself. I don't know. It's just kind of a confusing premise behind it, but I found that side mission really cool. Another really cool aspect of this game, I would say, is the overworld. The overworld is really cool because it's essentially top-down, third-person version of the world that this game is trying to convey. Your character's a bobblehead, essentially, walking around it, and it just kind of, like, puts things to scale, and you get to, like, see things from above, and it's just, I honestly think it's really different. I haven't really seen, obviously, like, you have that third person overhead view in, like, MMOs, RPGs, things like that, but, like, from the transition from, like, your missions to being in like first person to go into that and being able to walk around things, interact, bump into different characters, have that dialogue and things like that. I think that aspect's really cool, and it feels like you're actually playing a virtual board game or tabletop game. One thing that I really enjoy within the whole overworld thing is that whenever you walk through, like, certain areas of, like, tall grass and things like that, you bump into people, and when you bump into people, they could be friendly or they're enemies, and then you have to go fight through that encounter, and that helps you gain XP, and you honestly get some pretty cool loot from it. So I found that aspect really cool. And then there's also dungeons that you can run into. They also have shrines on the overworld that you can help build up by completing dungeons and things like that. I really enjoyed that part, well, at least for what it's worth, because I haven't really played too much of the game. I'm only like level 10 right now, so for whatever that opinion's worth, I would say. I also really enjoy quite a bit of the color palette in the game. I think it looks really nice. It's super colorful. The graphics are perfectly fine 2022, and honestly the performance of the game has been really nice. It kind of sucks though, because everything is on the cloud and I have to do the cloud syncing thing. Other than when I have like terrible internet, it's really not a bother. I've had really good performance issues. What the heck am I saying? I've had really good performance on the game. I've been running it on medium to high settings, and I haven't had any issues in terms of latency, like any tearing or anything. It's been looking fantastic. I've really enjoyed the boss fights that or at least like the 2 boss fights that I've encountered. Those have been a lot of fun. The siren was kind of repetitive, and it wasn't really, or it wasn't the siren. What was she called? A banshee. Her boss fight was pretty cool. Nothing seems too hard, I would say, even though I am playing on the highest difficulty in the game. I also really like the customization within the game. I do like how you can set up your character, like not just your character in terms of customizing it, but your class setup and everything. I like how you have your spells. I like how you have your different guns and weapons. I like the axes that you get and like the hammers that you can use for your melee. That's really cool. And they all each have their own different abilities, so they all have their own like purpose for various types of situations, and that's what I like about the whole class setup system in it. Now, in terms of for like skills and like magical point upgrades, the skills for your character, like for your forge skill, is really nice. My character, he gets 2 pets, and then I get to cast spells, which is nice. And those pets are always around you, and they're your companions, and they helped me get out of a lot of sticky situations. For instance, whenever I'd go down, I would have to reload. My pets would go and swarm one enemy that would be like super low on health, knock them down, I get a set death save, boom, bada bing bada boom, I'm back in the fight. So that's really nice and clutch, and that's what I would say I really enjoyed about that aspect of everything. You can upgrade some of like your, not really like your skills, your magic skills or whatever they are. For example, like your charisma, your wisdom, things like that. You can add points to those as well to help out with like your crit damage, your spell cooldown times. I think that part is cool. However, I don't really see the whole how it helps, because I really haven't noticed all that much of a difference whenever I do put points into that stuff. So I would like to see more of an emphasis on that, and if I am investing points into that, I would like to have seen a little bit more out of that. I guess that pretty much sums up the things that I do like. Now, the things that I don't really like, the combat, it is fun. However, it's not that satisfying. I don't get the same amount of satisfaction when I'm out here killing enemies in this game versus a regular Borderlands game. Obviously, the plot is kind of weak if you ask me. I would have preferred something a little bit more in-depth. I just feel like nothing's really truly at stake in this game. Even though, like, well, duh, of course, nothing's really at stake. You're playing a tabletop game within a video game. But even then, you could write the characters a little bit better to the point to where I almost have a need or want to go and defeat the Dragon Lord. Because he's just casually talking his way through the campaign, like he'll interject in there, but as opposed to Borderlands 4 where the timekeeper is talking to you, he's very menacing, imposing. But yeah, I mean, the combat's not that satisfying. I will say that a lot of the weapons that are dropped are really weak. Yeah, they're weak and boring weapons, specifically the guns that you use. Rarely any weapons have elemental damage, and it's honestly frustrating. How do I not have a weapon yet that is able to get me some fire damage? I have had corrosive damage, but I haven't had anything else outside of that. And what's also really frustrating me right now is the fact that I really don't like the movement. I don't like how I'm unable to be as maneuverable as I want to be, or as I could be, because I'm also just used to the Borderlands 4 movement right now, and it's just frustrating that I don't have a jetpack. Pretty much it. Yeah. And it's just driving me nuts in this game. However, I think once I start getting more used to it, it's going to be easier to maneuver around. And then I don't know what it is when it comes to like Borderlands universe games, but it is frustrating when I'm trying to just go through the main storyline and all of a sudden I'm facing enemies that are like 7 to 8 levels higher than me. I think it's just standard across any sort of game in the Borderlands universe, but in this one, it just seemed like it ramped up like really fast, even though I feel like I didn't progress that far into the story, and all of a sudden I'm like only level 8 and I'm facing like enemies that are level 15, 16, and they're just sponging my bullet. So I would say that was frustrating for a while there. Yeah, other than that, I don't really have too many complaints with the game. I really do enjoy it. I enjoyed the side missions that come along with the game as well. I really liked the Jack and the Beanstalk side mission that I had to do. The dungeons on the overworld is really cool. I really enjoy going into the dungeons and fighting all the goblins. I think the goblins are hilarious. They have good dialogue as well. I find it interesting having to fight the little mushroom enemies as well. I like the variety of enemies in this game as well. So now in terms of my final thoughts for the game, if I had to really describe it, I would say it's like almost like a Kids Bop version of Borderlands, but fantasy themed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, I know this was a very like diluted, watered down video, and it may not be the best description of it all, but these are my honest thoughts and opinions, and I figured I might as well voice them and put them out there based off of this game. And yeah, guys, pretty much it. This has been iNyzmo. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.